Hello and welcome to Creativity TV. On today's show, we are joined again by the lovely Jo Austin, who will be showing us a really fantastic technique. So Jo, can you tell us what you're going to be showing us?
Hi Emma. Right, so today we've got this little masking technique that we've got going on here to actually create little white areas in between where we've inked. Right. And then we've got some die cutting going on there as well, just to make a very simple but very pretty card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of card first and just make the white flowers. Now to make the flowers, I'm actually using my X-cut dies. Yep. These are the ones that I've got obviously all these little pretty flowers and the centres in. And I've just taken two of the smallest ones. So obviously you've got a varying different sizes in there, so you can obviously decide which size you want. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just basically pop it on my die cutting machine. Now I'm going to be cutting out probably around about 6 or 7 of these little flowers. Yeah. But basically what I want is I want quite a collection of this size of flower. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do then is just take the card. I've got some that I've already pre-used, so I just keep them all together. And these ones, what I'm going to do is use the temporary adhesive. Just put a little blob just on the back. And then all I'm going to do is just arrange these little flowers onto the front of my card. So this is a single piece of cardstock, just there. Okay, so at this point you can, if you wanted to put a large greeting there, you can actually place your greeting so you know where to put the flowers.
Right, okay, and you just put them sparingly over the card.
Over there. Okay, so I'll just pop another one just down in that bottom corner. Just there, so we've got those two just in line, and then my greeting can go here, so I might just move that one just a little bit further along, but you obviously get the idea of where you want to pop them. Okay, and then what we're going to use, obviously for doing the masking on here, is a dye ink pad, and I love these Artiste ones because they've got such vibrant, brilliant colours in there. So I'm just going to make a little palette on my glass mat. I'm going to have a little bit of the red.
The glass mats are perfect for this, aren't they?
They are, because I can just wipe it clean when I've finished. Yeah. So then what I'm going to do is just take a baby wipe, and just same as you've seen me do before.
This is dry. Right, okay.
This is dry, so I took it out about an hour ago just so it's got a little bit drier on there. Yeah. And all I do is I use them for cleaning the tables, cleaning my mats, cleaning my fingers, which is essential if you're card making. And I just leave them to dry. And then I double it over, wrap it on my finger, and then just basically I've got a little pad there. So what I can do then is use that as my little sponge or my little applicator. It just makes it a little bit more controllable. So I'm just going to dab into the colours. And then I'm just going to start in the centre of the flower, and I'm going to rub outwards. Okay, so we can just add a little bit of this colour again. Obviously all the way around the flowers, just so we know we've got all those covered. And this is going to leave the underneath of where this petal is, it's going to leave that white. So this is what we call masking. Then I'm going to go in with the yellow, take off your excess, and then just rub that colour in as well. So very lightly, because we want it quite nice and pastel. And then a little bit of the green. And again, I'm just going to come out from where the flowers are. Again, just to make that little bit of a shadow on there.
Now this is a really simple technique, isn't it?
But
if it's gonna look like your card that you've already done to show us, it's gonna look beautiful.
It does, and then obviously we can just use the baby wipe to take off the excess. And then all we need to do, because we've got the temporary adhesive on, is just give it a little bit of a twist and a pull. So twist it and pull it. Wow. And that will stay then in the centre, so if you do tear your card, we're actually cutting that middle section out anyway.
Right, okay.
Okay. So there you can see we've got the white flowers just underneath. So this is obviously where we're going to put our die then to cut it. So what I'll do then is just pick up the big shot, and then I've got the smaller die, and we can cut that out of here as well.
Right, okay.
Okay, so to do the lines that we've actually got on the front of the card, because we've got those beautiful lines, what I'm going to use is my Artiste pens. So at this point then, I've just chosen a couple there just to go with the colours that we've got on the paper. So you could use green, because we've added green. You could use red, because we've added the red. Or I'm going to use the black. So the black one, obviously your Artiste pens, you've got the small end and the larger end. I'm just going to use this small journaling end. So all I do is I've got the thin end, and all I'm going to do is a little dashy line, and then in between I'm going to add a few little dots. So it's quite random. And then come down underneath as well.
I like that.
So you can see there you've obviously got this little effect. Now you can add extra lines into there if you want, but I just go straight for the middle of the flower. Yeah. Always line it up on your board as well. So then you know you've got a nice straight line. And I've used the edge of the ruler, so this is the wide ruler with a metal edge on there, so it's actually lifted away from the paper. So when I pull the ruler off the paper, I'm not going to get any drag on my pen.
Okay.
So I've got a nice line there. So when we've finished, we've got these lines on here. And you can see there, they're just quite random lines. I've left them at different heights, which again just adds to the variety of the card.
Yeah.
And then just to basically mask off these little flowers, because they've got nothing behind it, they do look a little bit plain and boring at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to use these tulip Christmas papers. I think these are absolutely fab.
They're beautiful.
Okay, so I'm just going to pick out just a couple of little papers there. And then we want a stripy one as well. There we go. So
I love
three
the
little
feel
papers.
of these papers. They've
They
got
are
such a beautiful finish to them, haven't they?
And so I love these. It's the first thing I knew, because obviously we had the tulip papers before and they had this finish on.
Yeah.
So when I opened this pack, it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's got that on there. They're great. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I just want some little squares, obviously of the paper. So put up all three together. And all I'm going to do is just cut out little squares there. I'm going to take some tacky glue and then I'm just going to lay my squares out. And what I want to do is just add a little bit of glue to the back of the flower, just around the outside. And I'm going to take one of the squares and stick it over the top.
Oh.
Okay, so I work obviously with the papers that we've got there. So I know that I'm not going over and putting reds together and things like that. It's a little bit more spaced out.
Yeah.
There we go. We don't worry if we go over the edge, because we can trim that off.
Cut that, can't we? Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit more on there. Okay, so I'm going to put some foam pads on the back. Okay, so these are just going to go into the corners there. And I'm not going to put a layer on the background of this. I'm just going to leave it white on white. Okay, so just take those little foam tops off there. And then that's just going to sit onto our card. Okay, now I've taken a greeting out of the packs as well. So these are the new little greetings that we've got in the silver and the gold. I've just taken the one that says thank you, and I've doodled just around the edge.
Oh, you've done
exactly
that.
The
That's
same.
a really good idea.
So it's just completely white, but I wanted it to match in with the card.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to layer a card on the back of this because it's so pretty just on its own.
Yeah.
So I've just taken the same black pen and just dotted and dashed. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do, which is the only other thing that I've done on this card that's slightly different, so I'm going to take my pen again, just on the fine end, and I'm just going to draw just around these little flowers here. So now we've drawn around all of our little shapes there, you can see just how much they're actually standing out.
Yes.
Yeah, it just gives it a slight edge. Okay, so all I need to do now, just to finish that off, is just add some gems, and I've just gone for these lovely iridescent ones, the Paper Mania ones. It's got that beautiful shine on them, and they match in perfectly with the colours that we've used. So what I'm going to do is just take them with my craft knife, and then just down where you've put your little dots and dashes, just put a couple of little gems on each one. There we go, and then we'll just add two, just either side of your greeting, just to obviously again just bring everything in together so it all looks cohesive. There we are, and there's your card.
Your finished card. How
that
beautiful
sparkle just
is
sets
that?
everything off.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jo. I'd never have thought about doing a technique like that. Remember, you can access all of the step-by-steps to make this wonderful card that Jo's created for us today right here in the Creativity Club. And don't forget, we love to see what you've been making too. So if you have a go at making this card, then drop me an email at tv@docrafts.com, and you never know, we may feature you and your project on a future episode of Creativity TV. And for now, happy crafting.